Breaking overnight, the Senate passing legislation to fund most of the Department of Homeland Security. It does not include the billions of dollars in funding Republicans were seeking for ICE and Border Patrol, which is already funded because of the big, beautiful bill and funds that were available there. Republicans do plan to try and add that money through a separate budget reconciliation process. The bill that was passed last night also does not include reforms for ICE or immigration enforcement tactics that the Democrats had been seeking. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer pledged that there would be more opportunities and that Democrats would fight hard for reforms. In other words, everything we've done for the last 30-plus days where nobody was getting paid, where the line's been building up, you're not going to see much that came out of that. Last night's agreement must still pass the House, and it has to be signed by President Trump. So even if this gets done very quickly, we've heard that it could take several days before you see things get back to normal at the airports. The deal came after President Trump said that he would bypass Congress and pay TSA agents through an executive order yesterday, finding money somewhere within DHS probably to make those payments.
I mean, if I had been in one of those lines and this was the end result, I'd be furious because this was all about them. It had nothing to do with the people or the TSA agents or the. But
I think the TSA agents are where we lost more than 500 of them who quit, who can't handle this anymore.
DHS, ICE was always funded. That was always part of it. And this deal, don't fund ICE, but do everything else, has been on the table for weeks.
Yeah.
But they were insisting on, just the masks and some other reforms that you just said we're going to keep. Schumer said we're going to keep trying, we're going to keep doing it, but they got. It was all just an exercise in
the biggest part of this, as Senator Fetterman told us yesterday here, this got resolved because they want to go on their breaks.
I know that, too.
So the idea that...
Is the House going to vote for this?
We have our principles unless and until it's going to interfere with our plans.
Right.
Just more of the rules for thee, but not for...
If the House didn't do it, it would just be to make the point that we're not going to allow you to carve out anything because it doesn't.
I hope it passes the House. I mean,
but it's a moot point. ICE is already funded through 2029.
It should pass the House. There should be a rule that then comes through Congress, a law that Congress then passes that no party and minority can hold things up by taking it out on the backs of the TSA agents, which is what happens again and again and again. And by the way, the Coast Guard's not getting paid either. It's a ridiculous situation.
Right. No, yeah, it was.
It's a tool that should not ever be allowed.
But the calculation I think Schumer made is that Trump is so hated by most of the Democratic Party that this probably will not stick to them during the midterm. So they were able to do this. They were able to do this with impunity. You think it's going to stick?
I think there are a lot of people it's going to stick with.
This is 2 in a row.
It's 3 that we've been through from the last year.
Right.
The longest that we've ever seen that was just the end of last year.
You had the pandemic era that they got absolutely nothing for closing it down. Now you've got this.
These workers who are coming in trying to do their best, protect the country and protect us, should not be the ones who are bearing the brunt of this ever. There's all kinds of political fights. Elections have consequences, but it should not be carried out on these people.
The whole rationale, remember defund the police? I mean, defund ICE is not a worthy goal. I mean, maybe you need, I'm sorry, what happened was a tragedy. What happened in Minnesota. It was a tragedy. And look,
but
they have T-shirts. They have T-shirts for those people. They don't even know what Sheridan Gorman. They don't even know her name. They don't mention Laken Riley. They don't mention any.
I'm not even going to go down that path. The idea that this should be used as a political cudgel. There should be ways to negotiate and work this out in Washington. This should not be the way it happens.
The last one. Have we talked about the pandemic subsidies? Did the world end after that? Is the world going to end now because they didn't? What was it really about other than saying no to Trump?
I don't know. Look, you can come into this and say that they have valid reasons for what they would like to see accomplished, changes that they would like to see. I've got no problem with that. But you can't do it this way. Do you have a problem with?
I mean, we'll get into the masks and everything else. Because it's been so ginned up by certain elements, the entire trying to enforce federal immigration laws, which weren't enforced for 4 years, because it's been ginned up to the point where this kind of stuff happens. I wouldn't be an ICE agent.
No, but I think
especially if I didn't have a mask, they're going to get docked. They're going to show up their house.
But I think you should have there's a very logical conversation to have about whether you should be allowed to wear masks as an agent, about whether you should have to go through the court system to come up with any of the.
I don't know if
those are very logical arguments and discussions.
This isn't the way you do it.
This is not the way to do it.
I don't know what you do with masks. I don't know what you do with masks. I really don't. Then stop vilifying these people that are trying to do their job. Yeah. And that someone was elected president to try to do something about the 10 million, And isn't it a little strange that the two things, ICE and the SAVE Act, are both the most important things that what is it? And it's not about getting votes. That's not why they're doing. How come it all seems to be trending towards that's what the end result? Is there any other reason to not want to have IDs for voting? Let's not get into it. Anyway, it's about 80% issue, or even 70% of Democrats. 70% of Democrats
will say, yes, I show my ID when I show up to vote.
We're in like this weird